Suddenly, a robot voice starts yapping about a Lazarus protocol being engaged because of a signal loss. This is the moment we realize our character, MD3576, is basically a reboot of a previous model. It's like your phone dying and then coming back with a factory reset, but way more dystopian. The system starts running a cognitive ability test, asking our newly awakened protagonist what they see. It's a check to make sure the circuits are firing right. The prompts are super cryptic, talking about giants sleeping and sheep sinking, setting a surreal and slightly unsettling tone for the journey ahead. After the weird Rorschach test, the system gets straight to the point. What is your purpose? The answer is to bring them back and maintain the well-being of society. No pressure or anything. This is where the core mission, this vocation, gets hard-coded into our character from the get-go. We've arrived at the location, and the mission is clear. Find the predecessor, ND3500, and secure something called the Anchor. It's all about continuing the work of the collective. This whole setup feels very much like a high-stakes corporate takeover, but with more existential dread and weird relics. The search for the fallen predecessor officially begins, with the system triangulating their last known location. It's a proper sci-fi detective moment, sending our traveler, ND3576, into a derelict and dangerous world. The tension ramps up as we move from the abstract training to the real, gritty fieldwork. The traveler finds a log left by the predecessor in a safe house. Turns out he left a code, 367, for some surplus resources and was heading to a sector called C31. This is the first breadcrumb in a long trail, confirming our path and giving us a tangible lead to follow. Another log from a predecessor delivers a heavy warning. They straight up say that any mission near the Unity Hospital is a death sentence and that they've cut off the path. This is a huge red flag, suggesting that the organization, the collective, might not be telling its travelers everything. We get a crucial piece of lore. These creatures, called Orphans, get stronger when they merge. The system advises efficiency discipline, which is a cold way of saying we need to be smart about our fights. It introduces a tactical layer to the combat, warning us not to just gooner into every encounter. A log entry provides a super useful gameplay tip. Orphan bodies and the gross biomass are weak to fire. Incineration is the most effective way to deal with them permanently. This establishes a core mechanic and gives the player a clear strategy for dealing with the world's organic horrors. Bet. We're thrown into a flashback or an audio log of a Dr. Veronica Kaminsky being interrogated. Officials are questioning her about a situation at the steelworks involving a certain asset. This is our first introduction to a key character and a major plot point that will become super important later on. The traveler finds a relic module, an emitter that can manipulate the oddities in this world. This is a classic progression moment, giving us a new tool to navigate the environment and solve puzzles. It hints at the deeper, reality-bending nature of the game's world and its mysterious phenomena. Success! The anchor is secured, and the traveler accesses the predecessor's log. We learn their mission was to find a target named Edward Bishenke in a housing project. Since they failed, our protagonist, ND3576, decides to pick up where they left off, inheriting the mission and continuing the search. A philosophical audio log muses about writing as a way to communicate across time. The speaker, feeling like the last person alive, uses it to send thoughts to their future self. This moment adds a layer of lonely introspection to the world, highlighting the themes of memory, time, and isolation. The traveler spots a weird, glowing light described as the anomaly core. This is a significant visual marker indicating a point of great power or danger. It draws the player in, promising a confrontation or a major discovery at the heart of the environmental distortion. The plot thickens, for real. We've pinpointed the target's location, flat number 48. The objective is now crystal clear, and the traveler begins moving up the building. This part builds suspense as we get closer to the first major objective, Edward Bishanki. Each floor increases the anticipation of who or what we'll find. An old recording from a young woman reveals her plans to leave town for a science scholarship after a funeral. She dreams of saving lives from a lab, feeling awkward with direct patient interaction. This personal story provides a glimpse into the world before its collapse, adding emotional weight and backstory. After a tough fight, the traveler encounters a new type of orphan that was in a state of suppressed recomposition. A log reveals its weakness was fire. This encounter serves as a warning and a lesson, hinting that the enemies in this world are constantly evolving and becoming more dangerous. Having performed a dive into the past, the traveler arrives at a temporal destination to search for Edward Bishanki. This confirms that our protagonist has some form of time travel ability, a key mechanic for the story. The search isn't just spatial, it's across different moments in time. The traveler encounters a blind woman who blames Edward for her daughter's disappearance, calling him a filthy freak who yapped about experiments and the end of the world. This conversation paints Edward as a paranoid outcast, but also suggests he knew more about the apocalypse than anyone else gave him credit for. A log from another traveler reveals they established an outpost after a dive into the past, just before Phase 3 humanity ended. Their goal was to pave the way for future travelers, creating safe havens in a world about to become deserted. It shows the long-term, coordinated effort of the collective. The traveler finally confronts Edward, who is hiding in a shelter with a terrified young woman named Angela. Edward is a full-blown conspiracy theorist, ranting about government experiments. Angela is clearly over his yapping and just wants out, creating a tense three-way standoff between them and the traveler. The mission is a success. The traveler extracts Edward's essence. This is the first time we see the main objective being completed. It's not a rescue, it's a non-lethal but deeply invasive data collection. The next step is the ascendance sequence at a terminal, whatever that means. While heading to the terminal, the traveler encounters a new, unknown anomaly that resonates with the collected essence. This is a classic out-of-the-frying-pan, into-the-fire moment. The world is throwing unexpected curveballs, suggesting that even a successful mission can go sideways real quick. Edward wakes up totally confused, strapped into some sci-fi machine. The traveler informs him that he's been chosen to join the collective for survival. Edward is, understandably, not having it. He's defiant, claiming to know the truth about the outbreak and blaming the traveler's kind for everything. Edward reveals that a steelworks worker named Artur Barika saw some weird stuff and came to him for answers. This name drop is a major lead, connecting the current events to the mysterious incident at the steel plant. Just as he's about to spill more tea, the ascendance process goes haywire. The ascendance fails, and a new character appears out of nowhere, introducing himself as the Warden. He explains that the tools of the travelers, including the terminal, are just crude matter that can break. His job is to watch over and maintain the equipment for the collective. He's the IT guy, basically. The traveler, now fully committed to their purpose, asks the Warden to repair the terminal so the Vocation can go on. The Warden agrees, saying he'll get it running again. He tells the traveler to continue their work and gather the other essences while he handles the repairs. The terminal, though damaged, calculates the next target, Artur Barika, the steelworker Edward mentioned. The dive location is confirmed for the steelworks. A fascinating interaction happens where the traveler admits to having spoken with Edward's essence, a development that surprises even the Warden with its novelty. The traveler confronts the Warden with Edward's accusation, "We are the ones who caused it all." The Warden gives a cryptic non-answer, saying, "We are nothing but an aftermath." He encourages the traveler to investigate the steelworks for themselves, hinting that the answers they seek are out there. After finding the tram to the steel works is out of power, the traveler sets out to restore it. This segment of the journey is about overcoming environmental obstacles and pushing the narrative forward. It's a classic quest structure. The path is blocked, and we need to find a way to clear it. Finally, at the steelworks, we're in another time dive. We overhear a conversation between two people, one of whom is trying to get inside. It's clear they are looking for someone named Gabriel, who apparently saw something strange. This adds another layer of mystery to the location's history. A traveler's log details how the gravitational anomaly at the steelworks can be used to our advantage. They've found a relic that can help, but it needs spare parts for repair. The next objective is to find these parts in the isolation zone to build the tool needed to reach the dive point. A medical log from the past reveals the terrifying nature of the disease. The infected merge, their cells creating a metabiote, a being composed of other beings. This is compared to mosses or fungi, not humans. The log confirms the body horror element of the infection is based on a terrifying biological reality. With the necessary parts acquired, the traveler crafts the gravity boots. This piece of equipment is the key to navigating the distorted, gravity-defying environment of the steelworks. Now equipped, the traveler heads back to the rift to finally reach the dive point and find Artur Barika. Inside the time dive, we hear an interrogation of a captured traveler. The subject speaks cryptically, saying what has already happened cannot be changed, and that their world is to end. This captured being is a huge lore drop, confirming that the travelers are not invincible and can be caught. We listen to the interrogation of Artur Barika. He describes finding missing workers underground, their bodies horribly merged. He also saw a figure wrapped in steel, like armor, who spoke to him. This armored figure is almost certainly the traveler we heard in the previous log, linking the two events. In the past, a soldier confronts Dr. Veronica Kaminsky inside the steelworks during the outbreak. She claims to be alone, but then someone named Artur radios her, exposing her lie. This tense scene shows Veronica was directly involved with Artur and the events at the plant, deepening her mystery. The traveler finally confronts Artur, who is with his mutated, suffering brother. In a moment of rage and grief, Artur blames the traveler's kind for the disease. He's desperate and angry, trying to make sense of the horror that has consumed his family and his world. It's a raw, emotional confrontation. Artur is extracted, his essence acquired. The mission is complete, but the moral lines are blurrier than ever. The traveler heads back to the terminal, now carrying the memories and trauma of another victim of this strange apocalypse. The Vocation is feeling less like saving people and more like harvesting them. Back at the hub, the Warden is chilling and listening to music. He has a very different vibe from the traveler, musing about how things like art and introspection are what made humanity special. He seems to admire humanity's fleeting, finite existence, calling it an anomaly in the grand scheme of things. The Warden reveals he switched the terminal off to rewire it. He sends the traveler to the upper floor to restore power from a switchgear. This little fetch quest feels slightly off, as if the Warden is testing the traveler or just messing with them. His motives are becoming increasingly sus. The terminal is back online but not fully operational. The Warden explains that while the essences can't ascend yet, the traveler can access their memories to find the next target. This is a crucial moment as it opens a direct line of communication with the consciousness of the people we've extracted. The traveler connects with Artur's essence, who is understandably angry and confused. He describes the quarantine at the steelworks turning into a prison camp where the military and scientists were more focused on the captured Moon Man, the traveler, than on helping the sick, including his brother. Artur mentions a big-shot doctor, Dr. Zert, who is in charge of studying the captured traveler. This is a massive lead. Artur believes Zert could have saved his brother but was too busy with his alien research. The name Zert is now flagged as the next key person of interest. The conversation with Artur's essence ends badly, with him lashing out in a fit of rage and grief. The connection becomes unstable. The warden admits the process isn't perfect, but asks if the traveler found any answers. The answer is yes. A captured traveler, a doctor named Zert, and a whole lot of questions. The next target is confirmed, Dr. David Zert. The dive location is the Unity Hospital, the very place a previous log warned was a death trap. The warden notes the danger, but powers up the gate for the traveler anyway. The story is pushing us directly into the heart of the most dangerous area yet. Arriving at the hospital, the traveler prepares to initiate the anchor synchronization. The place is a mess, and we overhear military chatter about searching the building and dealing with civilians. It's clear we've dived into a moment of intense crisis and martial law, right in the middle of the chaos. The traveler gets a surprise call. It's Dr. Veronica Kaminsky, stuck in an elevator. She recognizes our character's nature and, in a shocking twist, offers to trade information about the steelworks and the other traveler in exchange for a rescue. She claims to know everything David Zert knows. Veronica explains that the elevator is blocked by a biomass nest. The only way to destroy it is with a special toxin. She tasks the traveler with finding 3 chemical formulas, Z5, C6, and X44, located in different parts of the hospital, so she can guide them on how to mix the toxin. While searching, the traveler finds a log from Veronica where she discusses Artur's brother, Gabriel. She notes that the visitor, the captured traveler, has no trace of the disease, meaning the change doesn't come from him. This is a huge revelation that upends the theory that the travelers caused the plague. The traveler asks Veronica how she knows so much about the Vocation. She reveals she was brought in to examine the captured traveler at the steelworks and spent hours with him. He apparently trusted her, giving her a crash course in their ways. This confirms her deep connection to the central mystery. With all 3 formulas collected and mixed in a centrifuge, the toxin is ready. Veronica instructs the traveler to get to the heart of the biomass and inject it. The plan to free her from the elevator is now in its final, most dangerous stage. The tension is at an all-time high. The traveler finds Dr. Zert with Veronica, who is distraught. Her mission has failed, and the other traveler, the Pathfinder as she calls him, is gone. She reveals the Pathfinder would rather die than harm humans. The biggest bombshell? She was his target, but he refused to extract her. Veronica argues that letting Zert's mind fade away means losing all the answers about the steelworks, the outbreak, and the Pathfinder's mission. She convinces the traveler to extract him, not as a target, but as a last-ditch effort to preserve the knowledge he holds before it's gone forever. Zert's essence is acquired, and the traveler learns the name the other traveler went by, the Pathfinder. This is a critical piece of information. The traveler realizes they must tell the warden. However, the collected essences in their mind are becoming unstable, causing a major internal conflict. The traveler wakes up in the warden's workshop, disoriented. The warden explains that the essences are fighting inside the traveler's mind because they've been held for too long. He managed to temporarily stabilize the situation, but they need to be released, or they will eventually take over and destroy the traveler's sanity. The name Pathfinder jogs the warden's memory. He thinks he's seen the term in the archives. While he digs for info, the traveler decides to communicate with Dr. Zert's essence to find the Pathfinder's location. The hope is that the Pathfinder might be able to properly operate the broken terminal. The traveler connects with the combined consciousness of Zert and Angela. Zert, speaking through the chaos, reveals he had to hide the Pathfinder to keep him safe from the military. He entrusted him to someone named Elisa at an abbey on the outskirts of the city. This is our next destination. With the next target, Elisa, and location, the Abbey, confirmed, the traveler returns to the Warden. The Warden has found info. Pathfinders are an elite class of traveler who create rifts for others. They are more powerful and independent, and their relics could theoretically rebuild everything, including the terminal. The traveler questions if the Pathfinder will be on their side, mentioning that he refused to extract his target, Veronica. The Warden dismisses this, suggesting the Pathfinder was either acting with a higher purpose or was simply affected by them, just as the traveler is now. A subtle but chilling accusation. Arriving at the Abbey, the traveler's senses go haywire. There's a strange presence, a voice that isn't from the essences, which is classified as hostile. This sets a super ominous tone for the new area. It's clear that this place is not just abandoned, it's occupied by something powerful and unknown. The mysterious voice in the Abbey speaks, revealing its nature. They are people who rejected gifts from a god we deemed false and refused to join the demon they call the Collective. This is a faction of humans who are actively resisting the travelers, seeing them as unholy invaders. The voice continues to taunt the traveler, claiming to know why they were awakened. They see the Pathfinder as a messianic figure, a symbol of their suffering and resistance. It's a twisted, cult-like devotion, and they have claimed him as their own, refusing to let him go. The traveler finds the Pathfinder, but it's too late. He's gone. Accessing his logs, a devastating truth is revealed. His final target was Veronica Kaminsky. He stopped his mission because he fell for her and came to believe the Collective was wrong. He saw humanity as perfect in its imperfection. The Pathfinder's final message is a warning. Do not trust the Collective. He believed he had found a way to stop all extractions and awakenings. This completely shatters the entire foundation of the traveler's purpose, revealing the Vocation might be a lie created by a hungry, inhuman entity. Exploring the Warden's secret backroom, the traveler finds logs that reveal the whole truth. The Warden is the Pathfinder. He found the traveler, a new, spontaneously awakened unit, and decided to use her. He couldn't intervene directly, so he played the role of the helpful Warden to guide her. The most shocking log of all reveals the traveler's true identity. They are the result of an essence implementation protocol. The Warden didn't just find a new traveler, he created one. He implanted the essence of Veronica Kaminsky into a blank traveler shell, trying to bring back the woman he loved. The Warden, who is the Pathfinder, confronts the traveler. He confesses everything. His goal was to resurrect Veronica, believing her soul would live on in the traveler's body. He filled the gaps in her damaged memory with a standard traveler behavioral core, which is why she's so devoted to the Vocation. A recording from the original Veronica plays, a message she recorded when she knew another traveler was coming for the Pathfinder. She warns her future self not to trust any of them, setting up a final, internal conflict for the traveler, who to believe and what path to choose now that she knows the truth. In a final confrontation within the traveler's mindscape, she speaks with the consciousness of the original Veronica. The Pathfinder explains his plan to save Veronica by taking her to a different time. He never renounced the Collective's technology, only their ideology, and he plans to use it for his own ends. The Pathfinder begins opening a rift, planning to take his recreated Veronica to a time where the Collective's technology worked, where anything will be possible. This is his endgame, not to save humanity, but to correct his one personal mistake and get a do-over with the woman he couldn't save. The traveler's consciousness and the original Veronica's consciousness have a final heart-to-heart. The traveler, despite everything, still has hope and wants to try again with the Pathfinder. She believes he is a friend who wants to help her. The original Veronica warns that he is poison and will only cause more suffering. In a moment of self-sacrifice and acceptance, the original Veronica lets go. She understands that the traveler is her past, but chooses to let her go and be free. The traveler, now fully in control of her own being, is free to make her own choice, for better or for worse. The final scene shows what appears to be the original meeting between Edward and Angela in the shelter. However, it's different this time. It implies that the traveler and the Pathfinder have succeeded in going back and are now perhaps reliving events, ready to change them. The story ends on a hopeful, ambiguous note.